Thank you so much, Madhusir, for this nice introduction. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Ehtisham Raza. I'm an industrial advisor at Quiz. So I'm also working as a AI ML engineer from last 4 years in different industries. I have experience in fintech and a financial industry experience as well. Currently, I'm working in a law firm where we are using generative AI to automate their business business process, how they can maximize their profit by eliminating the human task. So in today's session we are going to have a very in detail discussion about AI. We're going to talk about the different aspects of AI, and the main agenda is going to see how generative AI has been involved, what are the applications of generative AI and large language model. So without any further delay, let's jump into our topic. So generative AI and large language models is going to be our discussion for our day one. So without any delay, let's start the show. So in today's agenda, we're going to talk about, first of all, lot of students are joining from semester one and semester two. So we're going to introduce them. What is AI? So these days, you guys see on LinkedIn, on social media, everyone is talking about AI. AI is in demand these days. So we are going to see how we are going to utilize the AI in our daily task. So guys, can you see my screen? I'm just sharing my screen. Can you guys let me know? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes, I have started the recording as well. Okay, so let's begin our show. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about the introduction of the AI. We're going to see what are the subfields inside the AI. We're going to talk about machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, large language models, and generative pre-trained transformers, which are also called as GPT models. And we're going to see if you are an industry expert, if you are student of university, and you have to create your AI product, you have to create your final year project, and if you're industry, you have to create any project for your company. So how you can derive your AI product life cycle. So we're going to see that each phase in detail. We're going to talk about these things. So that is going to be in-depth understanding how you can carry forward your AI product development. And then we'll jump into the generative AI. We'll talk about how generative AI work, their architecture, what kind of neural networks are working behind the generative AI. Then second, we'll talk about the applications of the generative AI. Once we complete the generative AI architecture, we'll see how the generative AI is making the life easy these days. You guys maybe have seen the chat GPT models. Now you can not only generate the text, but you can also generate the images. But even there's also a lot of applications of generative AI which can generate the videos for you. Just type the text, you just enter your prompt, and the video will be ready for you. So we're going to see how these applications are making our life easy. Then we'll talk about the large language models. We're going to see what are the large language models, how they are very effective as compared to any other machine learning algorithm. And then we'll see about the examples of the large language models. So, my introduction, I am a senior AI/ML engineer. Let me just recap. So, I'm also generative AI expert. I'm also providing the one-to-one and one-to-many data sessions to at different platforms so students can interact with me. They can get the guidance about their career path in the data and AI. And as well, I'm a technical writer as well, where I publish different kind of blogs. I'm also being a part of different kind of publications. So if you guys have to follow me, if you have to catch me, you can follow me on these three different platforms. You guys can search me on on LinkedIn, Medium, and GitHub, so you will find my easily my profile. So once we complete this session, I'll provide this slide with you, so you guys can have my LinkedIn address easily. So introduction to AI, so called as artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence basically is making our life easy. How? Imagine machines that can think, learn, and act like humans. This is the feature of the human. This task can be done by humans, but why we have to rely on someone else? They can do our job. The reason is when we do the repetitive task, we easily get bored. If you start doing a task daily, the same task for a week, you easily get bored and you will have the chances of errors. So AI comes here when you have to perform your task with more accuracy, with more precision that AI can play a part. The goal of AI, its broad field encompassing various technologies like making machines intelligent. So it makes the machine intelligent and doing the repetitive task again and again with less error. AI is a broad term used in describing all sorts of advanced computer system. AI is a discipline, a branch of computer science. It comes under the computer science. AI is a theory of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence. So it can perform those tasks which require the human intelligence with more accuracy. Most of the what we see AI today is ML, training computer system learn from the data. So you guys have in our daily life we use all the time AI. If you're talking with someone over the WhatsApp, you are using the keypad. So keypad is learning from you. If you guys have seen, whenever you purchase a new mobile, you may be not getting those recommendations. With the passage of time, you start using your keypad. It will understand, okay, my this person frequently use this kind of words, so it will start suggesting you. So it is learning from you and it even making your life easy. So you don't have to write the whole sentence. You will just start with a word. It will give you another word. When you click on that word, you don't have to type, then it will give you another word, and that how it will complete your sentence. So it is learning from you and making your life easy. So that's how AI works. It learns from you, give you recommendations, and makes your life better. Subfields in AI or AI technologies, we have machine learning is a subset of AI. Deep learning is a more and broad domain of AI. Generative AI, you guys have seen these days, generative AI is a hot topic. Everyone is talking about Gen AI. And then it comes large language models, which are basically a more broader version of AI. And then it comes the GPT, Chat GPT, which we are using in our daily life to get our job done. So we're going to talk about each aspect of the AI in detail. So first of all, let's talk about the machine learning. Machine learning is a subfield of AI used in developing algorithms and models that enable the computer to learn from the experience. What does that mean? Think an example. You guys have an exam, you have books, you have defined syllabus, you have defined curriculum. You will go, you will start learning from your curriculum. You will master it. First of all, you will start reading it, you will start to memorizing. In the first iteration, you will not be able to learn from that. When you will do again, you will be able to get some idea more. When you do the third repetition, then you will getting more. So machine learning do the same thing. It takes the data and it just pass that data to their models, and model understand and makes the understanding. Based on the understanding, it can able to predict the next outcome. So machine learning is just like a human which learns from the data, and from the learning, once the learning is done, it can be able to utilize wherever you want. ML is the foundation of many AI technologies. Many AI technologies are backed by ML models. It enables the machines to learn from the data. So in AI, the data is your fuel. If you don't have the good quality data, you won't be able to produce good quality results. So to generate the good quality results, you must have to improve your data. So if you want to improve the accuracy, if you want to improve the output of your ML model, you must have to work on the data, the quality of the data. So machine learning is the foundation of many AI technologies. Think of a student studying textbooks, getting smarter with each page. With ML, you can build models that predict classifiers or clusters. So the example I quote you, just a guy who's studying from a textbook, he is getting smarter and smarter when you just simply expose him with more information. So this is how ML works. If you pass the more data to your model, it will be more accurate. If you pass 10 data samples, it will be not that much accurate, but if you increase from 10 to 100, it will be much better. If you increase from 100 to 1000, it will be much better. If you increase from 1000 to 10,000, it will be more improved as compared to the model which has trained on the 100 number of samples. So that's how you will. Similarly, if you take example of this, if a guy who is studying half book, he will be just okay, but it's compared to a guy who has studied, who has memorized the whole book. He will be taking much wiser decision as compared to the guy who has just studied half book. So that's how machine learning works. So the more the data you expose to your machine learning models, the more the data you use for training of your machine learning models, the more it will be able to make better decision, make your decision more accurate. So that's how machine learning works. Deep learning, what is the deep learning? Do you guys have any idea about what is deep learning? Can anyone answer this question? Let's move to the audience. Yes, Abu Bakr, what's your question? Yes, please. Can you guys tell me what is deep learning? If someone knows. Okay, let me explain what is our deep learning. Deep learning is a more confined, more refined version of machine learning. In machine learning, we have set of calculation. In machine learning, you guys have to take care about all the process. In what is the process in the machine learning? You have to acquire the data. You have to pre-process the data. You have to perform the feature engineering on the data, and then you perform the feature engineering. What is the feature engineering? Feature engineering means you have to pick those set of variables that is making prediction, making a role in the prediction, and making a model to able to good to make good results. But in deep learning, instead of using set of calculated algorithms, we have a neural network. What is a neural network? Neural network is just like a human brain where you have a neuron, just like neural network also have the neurons. So neural networks has the capability to learn from the data, and learning from the data, it will do the mistakes. Once the neural network do the mistakes, it will fix his mistakes by its own. Just like we are human, we learn, and we just go and we do experiment, and we get sometimes we get fail, and from that failure we learn, okay, we have to prevent from this mistake, otherwise we'll again get fail. So this is the same rule happens in the neural networks. It do mistakes and it learn from his mistakes in the first epoch, in the first iteration. When you just train a neural network, it will be may not be able to give you good results, but whenever it do mistakes, it can easily fine tune himself to be a better version of you. So neural network deep learning is a subset of ML that basically corely works on the neural network. You don't have any set of algorithm just like decision tree. We don't have like that here. We have neural network which has the capability to process a larger number of data. What is meant by larger number of data? It can be images, it can be text, it can be songs, it can be bigger documents. You can pass to your neural networks, and neural networks will have multiple layers. It has multiple layers. It has every neural network has three layers: compulsory, which is compulsory, input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. So these are the layers in the neural network which where all the processing happens, and once the processing happens, it will generate the output. So this is how the neural network works. So neural networks are the key components of DL algorithms, which makes it unique to learn from the data, and from learning from the data, make the decisions. So this is how the deep learning is the subset of AI. Next is the third is the generative AI. You guys have seen these days everyone is talking about generative AI. What is generative AI? Most of the people think ChatGPT is only the generative AI. There are a lot of other things generative AI can do. So generative AI is again a subset of deep learning. It uses the neural networks. Again, here we are also using the neural networks, but those neural networks has quite bigger architecture. Let me. My screen is visible now. Is it better? Okay, let's stay at previous one. So let me zoom this slide. Is it better now? Okay. Okay, so generative AI is a subset of deep learning where we utilize the neural networks to process the large amount of data, even it can be small amount of data. So if we talk about, let's take an example of the GPT. What is a GPT? GPT is a generative pre-trained transformer which has the capability to understand and process the large amount of data. If we talk about ChatGPT is trained on the data over the internet. So it has the capability to easily take input that large, bigger input data, and based on taking the large input data, it can easily give you the output, whatever the prompt you will enter. So it is more broader version of deep learning which can process the large amount of unlabeled data. Why it is unlabeled? Because when you are taking a large amount of data, it is not possible for you to label all this data. So this Gen AI has the capability to easily work on the unlabeled data. And even if you come and ask about the in prompts and you start giving the prompt to your GPT model, it will be given able to give you the output. So in the generative AI, there is a limitation. You cannot label all the data because your data is quite big and it is a quite long forever task. So you cannot just label all the data. So in here we have the unlabeled data in which you train your GPT model. Gen AI takes when it has learned from the example it's being shown and create something entirely newly based on the information. Yes, we can easily create a newly information, newly things using the generative AI. So using Chat GPT, we have seen those things which may or may not exist. We have created it using the Chat GPT. Even the images that never exist on the internet, but using the DALI at different platforms which offered you the given input the prompt, and using these generative AI techniques you can generate that input, output from that text. So generative AI model, we have GPT. Bard is a product of Google, just similar to the Chat GPT. Lambda, Palm, these are the products of the Google which you can use for the generative AI algorithm. There are a lot of generative AI algorithms available, but these are the very famous. That's why I'm talking about this. Large language models. What is a large language models? LLMs. LLMs is also a subset of deep learning. LLM is a powerful generative AI model focused on the text. So generative AI covers images, audio, text, anything. But large language models are only focused on the text. You guys have seen you guys have entered the bigger and bigger text to your ChatGPT model. Still, ChatGPT has the capability to understand that bigger text in very less amount of time, and based on the understanding from the text, it has already provided you a output whatever you are trying to generate. So large language models is has made this thing possible. So what is large language model? Is a subset of deep learning. LLM is a powerful generative AI model focused on the text. So it mainly focus on the text. It's not about any other thing. LLM is an AI model that has been trained on vast amount of data to understand and generate a human-like language capable of performing wide range of NLP tasks. So LLM has the different components which allows him to understand the input context, understand the context of the text, and based on the understanding the context, it can generate the different NLP tasks. If you are performing sentence completion, you can easily go with LLM. If you're performing sentiment analysis, you can easily go for LLM. Now we have the bigger text, and the problem with the traditional uh, neural networks, it cannot process and understand the context. They have limitation in understanding the context. But large language model has fixed this problem. It can easily understand the context, whatever the context human is talking about. It will be able to understand, okay, my human is interested in to generate something sort of sports news, I am going to talk about this. So it can easily understand your context. You don't have to mention your context. It will be automatically understanding your context. It will be generating the human like text like for you. Generative pre-trained transformers GPT. Chat GPT generative pre-trained transformer is a ML model. It is based on transformer architecture. What is transformer architecture? We are going to see this transformer architecture in detail in our upcoming slides. Which is a deep learning model specifically designed for NLP tasks. So GPT pre-trained transformers are specifically designed for NLP tasks. This model is trained on vast amount of unsupervised learning to train how to predict next word given to the context of the preceding word. So it is trained on using the technique of unsupervised. Why it is unsupervised? Because in unsupervised we don't have the label data. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have the label data because when you are acquiring a big data, when you're acquiring a lot of data, it's not possible for you to label each data manually one by one. So we have the unsupervised data. We just simply pass this data to our model. Our model has the capability to understand that unlabeled data, and based on the understanding the context, it will be able to generate the output. ML techniques are applied to train and fine tune GPT. Different ML techniques, if you have for even semi supervised, unsupervised, these other techniques are applied to fine tune and train chat GPT. So, prompt is a short piece of text. Once you perform all these things, you have a prompt. What is a prompt? Prompt is a short piece of text you pass to your GPT model, and based on understanding your input prompt, it will start giving you the output. So that's how the GPT model works. It is trained on the large amount of data using the unsupervised technique, and it is fine-tuned according to different rules of machine learning. And once it is done, the training is done, you can just simply make a prompt from that model and it will start giving you the output. Let's go ahead. Let's go and see how AI product development life cycle goes. We're going to see what are the different phases in this product life cycle, and we're going to see this everything detail. So what are the steps of AI product development? First of all, there is an ideation. When there is a product, you have to think about the idea. What are the things should be in my product? I am going to create my app for the healthcare. So for which health? What are the my audience? What are my users? So I have to consider feasibility study. Is my thing is viable? The product I am going to develop is viable. If it is viable, then I will move to the prototyping. What is a prototyping? Prototyping is basically a small, you can say, clone of your small type of your project, small architecture of your project, which you will develop to show your investors, or they're interested, you will further proceed. Once they improve your prototype, you will move to the data acquisition and processing. Obviously, when there is a AI, there is a data, so you will need our data to process, to perform your all the calculations. So you will be moving towards the data acquisition, and once you complete this, you will move towards the development. In the development, you will define your machine learning algorithm. If it is a generative AI application, you will be using those, you will be developing those algorithms. Once the algorithms, all the things are developed, when the training is done, you will move towards the deployment and the integration. So in the deployment, you will consider different platforms. What are my platforms where I'm going to publish my this application? So once you've done this, you will just go and monitor and maintenance. Obviously, the maintenance and monitoring is compulsory, because when there is AI, it can be a issue of biasness. So you have to be sure your AI system is bias free. It is not giving you output based on any biased decision. And once you complete this, you should have to think about the scaling, how you can scale your out AI product. And at the last, you will say evaluation. Is my product is making any impact? Is my product helping my people or not? So these are the all the steps required in the product development. Let's go and see each step in detail. So if you are planning to create your any product, even if you are a student, you are planning to create your FYP in AI, so you should know how the each step is important for you to keep in mind, so you can have a 100% good accuracy at the end when you develop your product. So let's dive deeper. At the very first step, you have an idea. Let's say I am interested to create an application where I am going to help my users to easily monitor their health issues. They can easily, on a one single application, they can easily have the prediction what are the right remedies they can adopt based on their age, based on their BMI, based on their gender, based on their body preferences. They can adopt so they can have their healthy lifestyle. So this is my problem statement. So I am going to identify the market gaps and opportunities. I am going to identify, okay, there are a lot of already applications are available in the market, but what I am going to fix in my AI product. Once you identify this is a job of a product managers who identify, okay, how big is my market for this product? Because if you're making any AI product, the end goal of this AI is to make a business so they can have profitable business. So product managers, is the job of product managers to identify the market gaps. Okay, my competitors are this, they are providing these kind of services. Okay, they don't have these kind of services available, currently available in their application. So I can introduce this application, I can introduce this feature so they can easily monitor their health. Business analysts, they analyze the potential ROI. What is ROI? Return over investment. Let's say you're going to invest 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. Obviously, if I'm investing 20 lakhs, but how much profit I can invest, I can earn from this one. Let's say if I'm making 100, 10 million monthly from this, obviously then I can say this profit is good, but my ROI is very low. Then how I can proceed with this, and what are the changes I can do in this product so it can be profitable. So this is a job of business analyst to identify, I am going to introduce this product into the market, how much profit I can expect from my this investment. And then there comes our data scientists, which are us, who suggest the AI ML application. So we're going to tell them with the possibilities in the AI ML domain, what could be the applications of this AI product. So once you complete this, then you go to the task. Define the problem statement. We're going to see, okay, I have defined this problem statement. I am going to fix this using AI. Brainstorm AI solutions. You're going to see, okay, these are the possible solutions. We can easily do this. So you will simply assess which tasks are easily feasible. So you will simply go and pick that task and you will assess that. Once you complete the ideation, next step is feasibility study. Okay, this is my idea. Is it viable or not? So here we have, obviously, AI product depends on multiple things. First thing is your data. If you don't have the data, how you can proceed with that project. So data engineers comes here in the second step, feasibility study, when you have to evaluate, is you have the available data for this development or not. If you don't have, obviously you are going to acquire from any third party, or you are going to generate your own data. So you have to consider this in mind. When you don't have the data, how you can do anything with data AI. Legal and compliance team checks regulatory constraints. Obviously, when you create any application, when you make your business, you have some regulations. So they are going to analyze what are my regulations. Finance team, in the second step, you have to identify, you have to assess your requirements, and based on your requirements, you have to set up budget. Let's say my this project is going to take $50 million. Okay, so I am going to invest this or not? Do I have enough funding, or I'm going to acquire funds from somewhere else? And once you've done this, you identify these things. Your task is to data audit. You have to check the data I have in my data lake, in my data warehouse. Is that worthy to develop such kind of application or not? Second thing is you have to check the compliance review, which can be done by legal team, and budget estimation. So how much budget I am going to allocate this in this product. So at the second step, all the things are decided. I am going to proceed with this study or not. So that is why it's called feasibility study. If your feasibility study completes all these three steps, then you can easily proceed with the development of your product. So if your feasibility study get passed, you can simply move to the third, which is prototyping, where you design some initial models, which can be the, you can say, the a mirror of what you are going to develop. Let's say if you're going to data scientist, you can simply create, let's say you're going to solve a problem where your application is going to predict 100 and different issues of a human. Let's say you're going to diagnose 100 and different 100 plus issues. There is 100 diseases in the market in the human body. I am going to predict, I am going to identify this issue before it happens in the human body. So I'm not going to in the prototype, I'm not going to consider all the issues. I'm just going to pick few issues and I'm going to easily predict using that in my prototyping. So that will tell me, okay, I have developed this thing with some initial findings. If you've approved this prototype, I can further include the other issues as well. So it will give the picture to your stakeholders, so this thing is viable, the thing we are developing can be doable or not. So here you will have the data scientists which will be working on the AI initial models. They will be developing these models with some basic data, with some basic issues. And you will have the UX UI designer. They will be developing the user interfaces. It is a mobile application, web application, so they will be developing this. And developers which will be build the prototype task. Here we have developed a minimum valuable product. So you will just simply create a minimum viable product what is possible at this time in less amount of data. So you can have a feedback from your customers, so it will help you to improve the your product. So you will collect the feedback from a user, then you will simply refine the AI algorithm, so that will help you to achieve the end results with more efficiency. So if you don't do this, if you don't create the prototyping, if you don't show this to your stakeholders and your clients and your users, you may not be able to get the feedback at very early stage. And whenever you complete the whole process without applying this step, you may have a loss. You may not be able to satisfy your client. So at the initial stage, you must have to consider this product I'm going to build should be accepted by my stakeholder as well as my users, because at the end users are going to use it. So if they don't like your application at this step, how you can say my application is going to be successful? Third step is prototyping. Then once you complete this prototyping, obviously you are moving towards more other problems. You are if you're developing a healthcare product, you will be considering other problems as well. You're going to consider other symptoms as well. For this you will need the data acquisition. You must have to acquire the data of those problems. Let's say if you're going to predict different forms of cancer by just simply analyzing the skin of a patient, so you must have to know how does each cancer, how if there is a tumor, how does each tumor looks like. So you must have to acquire the data of the tumor. So here you come to the data acquisition and pre-processing. Obviously when you get the data, it's not all the time you get the processed data. You spend Data scientists spend around 70 to 80% of his time in pre-processing the data. So you must have to pre-process the data. So at this step 4, you're going to pre-process and acquire the data. So here you have different people of data working together. You have a data engineers. Data engineers are responsible for bringing the data available to be utilized by data analysts and data scientists. So data engineer will ingest the data in the form of ETL, which is extract, transform, and load, and it will be converting their low quality data to high quality data, so you can be utilized in your AI model. And then you will have the data analyst will be aiding you in helping you in transformation, performing the exploration data analysis, exploratory data analysis, and pre-processing, so you can identify the meaningful features in meaningful insights from your data. I am going to use this data or not. And data scientists will be performing the feature engineering. They will be understanding, okay, these are the features I am helping into diagnosing the tumor, so I am going to use this feature. So this is the duty of the data scientist to identify the feature engineering. Task: data sourcing. You have to source your data, collect high quality data. Relevant data is the lifeblood of your AI model. So if you have the prediction of tumor, any kind of tumor, you must have to include the data set of different kind of tumors in your data, so you can have a good accuracy of your model. Data wrangling. What is the data wrangling? Data wrangling is basically cleaning, formatting. If your images, if you have information, if you have the data of the tumors and you have in the form of images, if the images are not clear, if there is a MRI image, if it is a CT scan, if there's any kind of X-ray image, if it belongs to a lungs cancer, then it will be an X-ray image of the chest. So it should be clear, it should be visible, it should be formatted, so anyone can utilize this data. It should be labeled, so it can help it can be readily usable for your machine learning model. Once you complete this data wrangling, you will see the exploring the data patterns. Okay, so you're going to analyze what are the patterns in my data I have. So you will be analyzing different patterns and uncovering the insight from your model. So this is the step 4 where you acquire the data and pre-processing. All the things are going here. Once you complete the pre-processing, the data is ready. Now next step is to feed this data to your model. So you will write the right production level code. Developers will be working on the production level code. Developers will be AI engineers. Software engineers will be working on the back end, who will be working on how your model will trigger when you get the input image from your application. How are you going to model? How your model is going to return the output. So developers and software engineers and AI engineers, ML engineers will be working together at this place. Data engineers will be working at for your ease, so you will have the readily data available in your data warehouse. So they will be creating a data pipeline so you can have a ready data so you can utilize it. Quality insurance, there is a QA team which will be working. Once you complete all of your job, they will be performing different kind of testing. They will be ensuring the application is giving the results as per as expected. So in this, the task involved will be code development, data pre-processing, and rigorous testing, which will allows you to be sure when you deploy your model in the production, when the user will be using it, it will give you the same result as per expected. Development, deployment, and integration. Once you complete these things, you're going to deploy somewhere else. It's not going to the model is not going to stay in your computer because it should be utilized by the people. So we'll have the UX UI designer. They will be making a good uh, user interface. Product manager design app feature. They will be telling you in my app these going features I'm going to have. Software engineers develop and integrate into existing or new system. Web dev, if your web application, design and develop front end web page. DevOps team, they will be handling the deployment of your model. IT support, handle user inquiries, testing and feedback. They will be helping you to get the feedback. Data security expert, when there it comes our data and AI models, AI products, the data security is the main thing. So you must have to be sure the data you're going to expose to the product you're going to expose in the market, deploy in the market. They should have the security checks. So whenever the because you are taking the input data from a user, so data is a very sensitive thing. It should not be breached by anyone. So you have to be sure the data is going to be not used in outside of this application by someone else. So your application should be secure. So data security experts will be working at the step 6, which will be ensuring when you deploy your application in the production in the application in the live, they will ensure the data is protected and it will be not utilized by anyone. Task, deploy the AI application. You will be deploying the AI application. You will be monitoring the performance of and security, and you will provide the user support if user get any kind of issues. Because whenever when you push your model into the production, there is a chance your model may not work as per you predicted. So you have to provide a support in the start when you create any kind of AI product, because people are not used to of AI. You are the one who have to help them to adopt this utility of the AI. So you're going to provide them support. So in case of any inquiry, any kind of issue, your support team need to be there so they can aid them. Once the things are happening, you have to perform the monitoring and maintenance. So stakeholders will be the data scientists, continuously improve the models because you will be getting the more data, you will be getting the feedback from the users. So if your model is not performing well, you should have to utilize that feedback and you should incorporate that feedback with the new data in your model, so you can have a long term, your model should be utilized in a long term by the users. Product managers, they will be gathering the feedback from the users and they will be bringing to the data scientists, ML engineers, and operations, tracking the accuracy, bias, and model potential drift. What is a potential drift? This is a very important concept in a machine learning. Can anyone answer this question? Let's move to the chat box. Can anyone answer this question? What is a potential drift? Just will share the slides, no issue. But my question is, anyone knows about the potential drift in the machine learning in the AI product lifecycle? This is a very important concept. Maybe you guys will face this question in the interviews. Okay, no issue, no issue. I'm going to answer this question. They are different. What is a drift? Please tell me what is a drift. If you guys don't know, no issue. Just type no in the chat. So I will be answering your question. You can say we have heard about sliding of a car when a chance of disturbance. Very nice. Please more. Hmm. Nice. A potential drift. Let me read from this here. Yes, Mehran very well explained. So let me explain this potential drift. Not only, let's also understand other kind of drift. Hmm. Keep going on. Keep going on. Even you guys can search on internet and paste here. That's not an issue. You can ask ChatGPT as well. Just paste here. So I'm going to explain you. The more the text you will paste here, I will be more explaining you, and I will be explaining the each comment here. So if you want more explanation, keep posting here. The accuracy of the AI models can drift, degrade within production data differs from the training data. Obviously, yes. So this is a very good explanation. Let me brief this. So potential drift in AI refers to the phenomena where the performance of an AI system deteriorates over the time due to changes in the data distribution or the environment which is the system operates. Yes. So there are different kind of drifts in the AI. Data drift, so when your data change in your when your data is different in the developers, when you use the data in the development of the model was different, and when you model goes and encounter with the real world data, and it sees there is a huge difference between the original data and the real world and the data on which you have trained. So that here the potential drift and data drift happens. There is also a problem of model drift when your model start drifting, when your model start making the unbiased decision. We're going to discuss these things as well in detail, but let me explain over this drift can occur in various forms and significant implications for the reliability, fairness, and safety of the systems. Yes. So what can happen when there is a drift happens in your model? Model will lose its potential. That's why it's called potential drift, because it will not able to generalize to give the prediction, right prediction on that real world data, because the data which was used in the training is totally different in the data which is in the production. So that how it happens. So it is a difference. It is happens because of the difference in between of the data between the in the production and in the training. So this can happen when you deploy your model in the production. So you have to be always ready. This can happen in your model, but that's okay. AI models, AI systems are always ready to learn from their mistake. If your model does not give the right output in the start, it's okay. We are humans, we also do mistakes, so machines can also do, but we can train the machine with the passage of time. We'll get the data. Now we got the data, we have seen the human feedback, we got the real world data. So now we can pick that data and we can feed that data to our model. So our model will have the easily fine tuning on that data. So this is can be doable easily, but if you don't have, if these kind of issues don't happen, it will be no, your model will be not getting updated. So if failure will allow your model to be more precise and more accurate, so it can be utilized for longer run. So if this issue happens, what you will do, what you can do, you can pick that data, you already getting this data, you are already getting this feedback, use that feedback and use that data and just fine tune your model again and put into the production. You already have the whole life cycle. You just have to introduce a new model which can be replaced with the previous one. So it will be a more better version of it. So most of the guys you have seen in the start, the chat gpt, when you guys maybe have observed in the start, the chat gpt used to give us the wrong prediction. It was not very accurate. But with the passage of time, it started learning from the human. It's becoming more accurate. So, but if you simply say, I am going to push my model into the production only when my model will be accurate, then it will never happen, because AI models have the capability to do the error in the start and fix those errors with the passage of time. So Even your stakeholders will also have the idea my AI model in the start will be not that much accurate. It's not that mean I'm not going to let my people use this. I will simply say use this. I'm going to ask my users use this model, but my model is in a beta version. It is learning from you, learning with the passage of time, but with the passage of time, I can be assured you can use this model, you can rely on model because at that time it will be perfect. So, but in the start, you may have to wait, you have to a little wait for that time so you can be utilized fully. Concept drift, yes, also known as model drift, yes, it is also known. Let me also explain this to you guys just because these days, when you go into the interview, they don't ask you, please write this code of the machine learning model. They ask these kind of problems, how you can fix these kind of problems. And these kind of problem to uh, I can explain you on internet these kind of topics are not very in much. You may have to study these topics, you have to find these topics by your own, then you will be able to learn these topics. But just like if you see on internet on YouTube, lot of courses available on the machine learning and deep learning, but not all the people are teaching you these things. So the only way to learn these things, learn from the book, or either go to the start reading from the medium, which is a very good source of learning the machine learning. So let me explain the concept drift as you we got the chance to learn about the drift of the machine learning. It's a different kind of drift. Concept drift is also known as model drift. This occurs when the task the model were designed to perform the changes over the time. For instance, if a spam email detection was trained based on the historical email content, but the type of spam emails evolved significantly. Yes, there was a spammer who used to do the email with some certain rules of logic. You identify, okay, this is a spam, but now spammer is now more intelligent. He has learned, we have introduced a AI model which can detect his spam. So he has changed his email, he has changed his the uh, writing the how to write a spam email. He has just totally changed the structure of the spam email. So this can happen the concept drift. This can happen only in machine learning and deep learning, but generative AI is can easily cater this kind of thing because spam is still a spam. There are certain set of you can say parameters that can help you to identify the spam. Generative AI can do this, but this problem happens in the machine learning. Concept drift, data drift, and the potential drift. This kind of problems can happen. The data drift is problem because when you have the data, when you train a model, suddenly when you put the model into the development in the deployment, and the input data is totally changed in the real world. So this kind of problem is a data drift and the model is not able to generalize that data. Okay, it also happened to non-AI application, yes, but it's not the data on which the model is trained comes from the real world data. It can be the data which comes from the real world, but it's not always the possibility. Is it possible to build a mobile application using Python? If yes, I'm not sure, but there is a Kiwi application. There is a Kiwi library which you can use to develop a mobile application. How how AI models can be again robust against adversarial attacks that intentionally manipulate the input data? Yes, there is a decoder. If you have autoencoders, there is a decoder which can help you to identify is this the information generated, the information attack I have received in my model. Is it attack, is it outlier, is this anything? So that can adversarial encoders, if you got idea about this, they are mainly used to identify the noise in your data. What is a noise? Which is a input attack or any kind of irregularity which can disrupt the working of your model. So yes, this is. So let me go back to the topic. So ML ops and engineers are working to improve the accuracy and the performance of your model, so it will not have the drift will not happen. Biasness should not happen. So if you guys have idea about the in United States, most of the industry is biased toward the white people. If there is a black people, they don't entertain, they don't treat them same like they treat their white people. So this is a biasness. So your model should be accurate. It should not be focused on specific age group, specific gender, specific type of people, specific class of people. It should be entertaining, should be giving the right accuracy to all the people. Customer support address issues. So if you get any kind of issues, the model should be addressing the issue. Task regular model training, retraining. Yes, if you regularly retrain your model, these problems will never happen. Implement updates based on feedback. Yes, you should implement the updates as if you're getting the feedback from a user. You should implement those. Resolve technical glitches. If you can any kind of you get any kind of glitches, let's say the model is taking a lot of time, the latency is very high, so you should fix this. So this kind of task will be involved at this. Once you complete this, next is scaling. Now your model is in production, how you can scale it, how you can make it available for the more audience. Scales sales and marketing team. Yes, sales and marketing comes here. They can plan for expansion. Developers can optimize for scalability. Data engineers enhance the data infrastructure so that data you're getting into the model should be more accurate. MLOps exploring new algorithms, staying up to date with AI advancement to keep the apps competitive. Obviously, when you go into the production, the challenges of the production are totally different when you start developing this kind of applications. So you have there is a dedicated team which works on always on that. If any kind of issue happens, they are going to fix it. Task plan marketing campaigns. Yes, you can plan marketing campaigns, so you can prioritize, you can improve the, you can just simply target your market and you can just start making the marketing campaigns. Optimize code for larger user bases. Yes, it's not like that you're going to always serve a specific number of people. Your audience should grow with the passage of time, so your code should be optimized for that. Upgrade data storage and processing capabilities. Yes, when the more user comes, as it's a AI product, so the more data is going to be inside the model. So where the data is going to store. So you should develop those kind of application, those kind of data warehouses, data lakes, where you can ingest that bigger data when the processing get increased from 1 time to 2 time, even 3 time to 4 time can be expected if your audience tremendously grow. Evaluation. At the last, you must have to evaluate your performance, must have to evaluate, is my product is making a profit in the market, is a benchmark I have defined at the time of the development is according to the market. At this place you will be impact assessing the product impact, ensuring the alignment with the business goal. Is my product making impact in the business, or is there any area of improvement I have to work on that? So you can identify these kind of things. It can help you to evaluate. So this is how all the AI products development life cycle goes. I have been a part of this life cycle. I have developed different products for my current company and previous companies. So this is how it goes. Every team work together, not AI team, even the non-technical people also come on board. You will talk to them, you will define your, if you are working in a product based company, so you will have this kind of discussions with your different teammates, with your peers, and you will be talking and defining how you can proceed with the development of your. So by defining these steps, by defining this all the discussion, the only thing you can assure is you are going on a right track, you are going towards the success. Without this proper planning, if you know how to perform all the tasks at each step, if you have your defined steps, it will be always a chance of improvement. But if you just simply start development of this product without discussing with your other team members who are going to make it available for the people in the market, you will never able to make a product which will totally address the need of the people, which will be totally aligning with the business. So you have to consider this step, and it is very crucial. And you will learn only these things when you go into the market by spending a lot of time. So I am explaining you this thing prior you guys enter into the market, so you will have idea how you are going to be in that team. So by learning these things, you guys can easily participate in this kind of discussion. If you have idea, okay, for the improvement of my product, to whom I have to address, for the improvement of my sales, who is responsible, for the improvement of my data, who is responsible. So you guys will automatically have ideas who can make bigger impact, instead of learning, going into the market, doing experimentation and learning these things and spending a lot of time in these steps and then coming back. Because being a tech person, when you just directly go into the industry, it gets very difficult for you to learn the other perspectives of business as well. So it took me long time to learn these business terminologies, business understanding, but now I am a part of this team, so I am easily comfortable with these things, but it took me a long time. Now I totally know what is the importance, how it is making impact in the development of my product of AI. So that's why I walk you through to all the steps. You're going to learn nowhere from the internet. You're going to learn only from the experience of the from the people of these things. So let's take a break of 5 minutes. In this break, we're going to answer the question of different people. Okay, let's start. Hmm, okay, how to get job in generative field as a fresher? What do need to learn? Okay, so let me answer this question. So if you know the machine learning, that is going to be really good for you, but you must have to be good in deep learning and you should have a technical background. If you're coming from a CS, so I can expect you already know these programming things, you already know Python and any other programming language. To learn generative AI, these things, it's not that much difficult as it seems, because lot of already pre-trained models are there. You just have to go and make your understanding with the generative AI, learn, see how we can learn about the, see how what you know about the LLMs, talk about it, check different LangChain models. There is a huge repository available on the internet about the Hugging Face. So go and start exploring different pre-trained models which is developed by Hugging Face. The Hugging Face is the very good company which is making a very good profit by introducing these large language models. Even Google, Facebook, Microsoft, OpenAI also use their pre-trained large language models. So there is open source, the lot of open source available there. Go and start exploring that thing. At least explore 10 LLMs from the text generation, 10 LLMs from the image generation, 10 LLMs from the speech generation. You should know these kind of LLMs. So once you learn these things, obviously these days every business has changed. People are looking for generative AI experts because now the problem is totally changed. Before this, in few 2 years ago, when uh, I had 2 years of experience in of the market. People used to contact me. Can you develop the sentiment analysis for our company? Can you develop a customer churn rate prediction for our company? Now people are have totally changed their requirements. They are looking for those people who can simply automate their time taking tasks using generative AI. Let me explain you how I am working as a generative AI engineer at my job. So what I do, I am basically working in a law firm of US. What they do, they basically have the users in different states of United States. They they are a team of lawyers. When you get the accident in the US, you must have to buy a insurance. So if you have the insurance, you will have the chance to claim the insurance. Let's say you get the accident and you get the loss, you get the medical treatment, and medical bill is quite high. So if you have the insurance, your insurance will cover it. So the problem is, all the people in the US have the insurance. The America has also already enforced the people to purchase the insurance. So they have the users. They come and purchase the insurance. When they get into the accident, they get the medical bill and they send that medical bill to the insurance company. See, we got the bill of $10,000 and we have the insurance. You guys have to pay on our behalf. Not all the time insurance company pay. Let's say if your bill is $10,000, then not all the time they're going to pay you $10,000. They're going to pay you $5,000, they're going to pay you $6,000, they're going to pay you $4,000, and they will start giving you the excuses. Because of this reason we are not paying you the full amount. And that person does not get that full amount. They go to the law firm and they say, I have uh, billed this amount to my insurance company, but they have not paid us that amount. So they basically provide different kind of document. That documents contains from 50 pages to 100 pages, and that simply explain what is the reason and why, how they are not performing, how they are not paying their bill to their to 10,000 to the customer. And that lawyer take around 30 to 35 minutes to read his documents, and based on reading his document they identify, okay, because of this reason, might be this is a problem of my customer, or might be this is a problem of the insurance company. So they spend around 30 to 35 minutes, and there's a lot of application they have already received from the customers to check our documents, and is it worthy to if we go and file a suit against this insurance company or not. So they spent around 30 to 35 minutes by reading his documents. All the documents contain ledgers, different kind of checks, different kind of information. So that is all the text. What we are doing here, we are just simply taking those documents as an input. We are processing those documents, and in less amount of time, even in 1 to 2 minutes, we are understanding, okay, what is the issue in the document. The company is not paying him. So we'll tell that lawyer this is the reason why this is not paying. So this kind of problems are companies are solving these days. So instead of taking 30 to 35 minutes of the lawyer, now his time is reduced. They can easily perform different cases at the same time. They don't have to wait for 30 minutes, so the lawyer will be free. He will move to the next case. So now your AI system can do the same task simultaneously. So these kind of problems people are solving these days with the utility of the generative AI. The use case has totally changed. People are, if you talk about the marketing, people are creating the marketing campaigns, marketing posters, different kind of marketing tags, marketing, all the products they do for the marketing has totally changed. So generative AI is making a really good impact. Companies are following these paradigms to improve their business. So if you know these things, you can easily be a part of any company who is working on the generative AI. And the good thing is there is a shortage of generative AI expert in the market. So you can be in in the start you can be a good. Yes, Abu Bakr, you have a question. So I have a question you were talking about. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, let me answer your question. So I understand. So everyone started with zero experience. Even when I started, I did not had any experience. So what I did, I was very active on the LinkedIn, and I was always working on my profile and the resume. So my resume was always up to dated according to the industry standards. And as per the knowledge, you have the LinkedIn, this is your profile, this showcase you to the market what you are doing. And these days people only purchase what they see. If you go to Amazon, you see a good rating, obviously you will go and purchase that product. Similarly, if someone comes to a LinkedIn and see what you are actively doing, are you actively participating somewhere, are you actively posting about your domain. Here we have the chat gpt to create any post on the any topic on the AI is not a big issue. So a lot of people ask me how we can get the attention of the recruiters. The only thing is when you start posting on your LinkedIn actively, recruiters will automatically comes to you. They will start approaching you because when you start posting, when the recruiters search on the LinkedIn for the, let's say, AI expert, and you're already doing this, your profile will automatically appear in the search. So you have to do this. You don't have to write the post manually. Ask ChatGPT, can you provide the, I learned this lang chain, can you provide a post on this lang chain so I can post on my LinkedIn. So ChatGPT can provide and you can put on that. So if someone is looking for a generative AI ML expert, they can see this person is already doing this. So let me give him a chance. Let me talk to him. This is how it happens. Even my LinkedIn, I frequently receive messages from different recruiters. Can you join our company? We are looking for this one. The how it happens. So I just simply actively participating on my LinkedIn. I actively post there. If you guys see, I'm actively posting. Even I don't have time. I have a lot of other routines, other scheduled things, but still I manage to do this thing. So if you do this, obviously things gonna happen in your favor. And my third suggestion is start reading the books. You have learned a lot of tutorials, that is good. You can connect me with on LinkedIn and you can ask me, you can refer me, you we met there. I will send you a list of books. Study those books. So that gonna make a huge impact as compared to the guy who's learning from a tutorial. Anyone can connect with me, they can ask me for favor so I can provide you the right material so you can learn from that. So let me, yes, Daud, please. Welcome. Yes, I can hear you. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, now if you know JavaScript, I don't think there will be a problem for you to learn Python, because if you go into the industry, they always in the job. If you learn the Python at this time, it will obviously gonna pay back you. Because if you go for any job, they don't mention we can adjust if you know JavaScript or machine learning. So think according, if you go into the market and be looking for a job, they will be requiring a Python for a machine learning engineer. They will be they will mention on totally. We are looking for a Python expert or maybe R. Python is okay. Lot of libraries are available. Uh, Everything is done in machine learning in Python. So that's why they prefer a guy who knows Python. So if you know JavaScript, I think so Python will be very easy for you. Python is very simple language. Pawan, you have a question, please. You can unmute yourself and you can ask. Pawan, do you have any question? Okay, who is in the queue? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, you have any question? You can ask. Yes, hi Pawan. Yes. Okay. Let me brief this. So, what data scientists can do? Let me give you guys my story. When I was in my third semester, I got my first internship. I was doing my internship with my classes. I was skipping my classes and I was going to the job. That was in my university. So I was working with a teacher who was doing his research. So if you guys in a university find these kind of things, be a part of any research development, be a part of any teacher assistant. When you go into the market with zero experience, it will be quite a little bit difficult for you, but it's not impossible to not get a job. It's easy if you have a right profile, because obviously companies are looking for people who can work in their companies. And these days, Pakistan, there is a huge demand of data scientists, data engineers, data analysts. Not only data scientists, data engineers are in demand. And even the pays of the data engineers is more than the data scientists. The reason is there's a lot of data is being generated, and there is not enough time for data scientists to fix that data and make it ready. So people are looking for data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts, and AI/ML engineers. Although AI/ML engineer and data scientists are same, but there are some places there is a difference between AI/ML engineer. So if you know data scientist, if you are data scientist, you are ML engineer as well. So let's come back to your answer. So if you can take part in these kind of things, if you guys see a lot of people are organizing events in their student time, doing these kind of things, must do these things with your studies. When you go into the market, they also expect you, they know you have just learned these things and you know these things very well. Even I am in a market from last 4 years. I may know don't know the exactly what is taught in the computer science, the each topic, because I am not using all the topics which I have learned from the university into the market. They will already know you know these things, but what else you know? Understand? What else you know? What else you know means how you can participate in their company and be a good addition of their company. If you can be, it's not like that you're going to only the work. At my job, I attend 4 to 5 hours in a meeting with my stakeholder, with my clients, and my 3 to 2 hours I just give instructions. Sometimes I ask my juniors to work for me, and sometimes I do my own, and if I get time. So my time is going mostly in the collaboration. I am doing this thing on a very early age because I have this skill. I have a very good communication skills. I have very good selling skills. I can sell any product to my client, to my user. So be a part of these kind of things which can help you to improve your skills, your communication skills. Because the problem I have seen in mostly students, they have technical skill, they are technical is sounded, but they have lack of communication skills. So if you can be a part of this kind of community which will improve, help you to improve your this kind of problem, obviously you must want to get the job. And the same suggestion for everyone in this meeting: start be active on your LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is your, you can say, your profile. Everyone is going to check how much actively this guy is publishing. Medium allows you to easily publish your article. Why not you write your own article, learning new thing, post on the Medium, and okay, okay, I will check this later. Thank you for sharing. Learn anything new, post there, and you will start getting the audience. So this is what I do. I have a lot of followers on in. I have different followers. I have written multiple stories. I just simply, what, how it's gonna impact in your profile. This is the extra thing you are doing. Not everyone will be doing this thing. So this will make you unique from other people. So as you include this thing in your profile, in your resume, obviously that is different. Not all the people will be doing this thing. So it will make you special. If recruiter has to think about you, obviously they're going to consider you. Let me first start from the question. Okay, guys, we have to wrap this question in 5 minutes. We have to go back to our topic because a lot of things are okay. Yes, please, Aisha, you can go ahead for your question. Walaikum assalam. Hmm. 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 Exactly. Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. I know. Hmm. 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 Sure. Nice. Very nice question. So, what you guys can do, there are a lot of books available. The problem with tutorial is it is good when it is good when you are new to any topic. Obviously, when you directly jump into the book, there's going to be a very difficulty for you to understand these things. I used to do the same thing. I used to learn, let's say I have to learn KNN. I will start go and check into the internet. Okay, I got what is how does the link the KNN work? Okay, I understand. KNN has the k number of clusters. It has to select this number of cluster, and based on the Euclidean distance, it's going to differentiate the clusters. So now what else? Where I can apply this? Go to the GitHub. There are a lot of repositories available on the GitHub. Start looking for their projects. Just copy paste on the project and start working on that. So people can easily people are already doing the lot of things with the KNN. Not only you, lot of expert people are doing this. Learn from that. Once you do this, go and study the book. So that will gonna make impact from you. As per the book, I will share the book with the organizer of this meeting, Mudassir. There are a lot of books for the students, step by step. You can follow these books, so you can be a expert as well. So I have a question talking about the stakeholders in the AI, such as web developers, software engineers. You think that these you can so itself it would be cost effective? Let me answer this question. So I have a question that you were talking about stakeholders in AI model development, such as web devs and software engineer. Won't you think that these tasks could be solved by AI itself and would be cost? Yes, that could be done by, but this time not. You are saying AI can generate the website for the people, so why not use the AI? The problem is there are a lot of when you develop the AI application, it's not like that a simple application of the web which you can simply showcase in your business. Let's say I own a business, I just own a bakery. So I just want to say what are the products available in my bakery, what I am selling. It's not like that. The website is not going to be like that. It will be a lot of backend. It's going to be a lot of integration of the APIs, different models. So it will be quite complicated. So AI may be used in future, but as I have seen, still we need the software engineers. I have a question. ChatGPT are available on Google Play Store. Here's the question. I'm using C Sharp on Java to build application. How is it possible? Still, you going to use? You have to use the Python because at my job we have a C Sharp backend developer who is utilizing my APIs. I'm writing my APIs in Python, which is my model, and I'm just parking him and he's using it. I think API are just sorry. Mhm. Devin, which is yes, which is a new software engineer AI model. I have not yet explored. To be honest, I have not explored Devin, but I must gonna explore it because it's in my wish list. I can't comment on it. I think APIs are used by front-end developers in the yes, APIs even let's say you have a model, you're not going to say this is my model use going to deliver this to your front-end guy, your software engineer guy. He is going to utilize your model in the form of API, which he can hit a model it with the parameters which is required for a model, and the model will return the output. So your model will be hosted somewhere, maybe in your system in a cloud base. So can you explain the intricate differences between AI engineer, MLE, and data scientist? AI engineer and data scientist, or you can say an ML engineer, is around the same things, but ML engineer is more towards working on the deployment of the model as well. Data scientist is morely involved into the business as well, who also get into the hands-on with the business side as well. So AI and ML engineers quite the same things. Can you explain the new natural language processing and programming language processing with other example? Natural language processing is just like you have a human task, language task, which can be done using the programming. So like that, programming language processing, you are processing. What is that? I'm hurting this thing for. Am I PLP? It is a no word of programming language processing. Natural language processing. Let's say you are performing a sentiment analysis. You have a bigger text, you have to summarize into the short text, so that is why that is called natural language processing task. Also, serious when it comes to maths, how understanding deep learning. I have never used maths in my deep learning. Google machine teachable consider into generative. Okay, teachable consider into. Yes. What are the much skill first we have a master in order to freelance AI work? We can set a separate webinar on that. You guys can request the organizer. That is also the main thing. So you guys, there are a lot of potential in freelance work. I guys can guide you what you guys can do on Fiverr and Upwork, because I used to do. I have stopped doing this thing because I have to do something else by my own. So, but I have done a lot of good things at Fiverr. There's a potential if you guys can make a good gig on Fiverr, you can be a good freelancer. I'm current since my must tech developer multiple projects and wanted to switch AML, so could okay now I have answer your data scientist can direct after job as okay I have answered what are the application of privacy data governance. Okay, so if you guys have seen, Google has lot of companies have the separate the department of the data governance, how they are working, because if you guys have heard about AI worms, cybersecurity worms, that can be ingested in your AI models, which can totally disrupt the functionality, the efficiency of your AI model. So that is the job of the data security and privacy governance, which allows you, which basically makes your model to not simply get into any kind of AI worm, so they will be resilient to this kind of problem. What novel business models emerge when AI model disrupt? Okay, hello sir, as you mentioned, there is not okay. What novel business models emerge when AI disrupt existing value chains and redefines competitive disadvantage? Obviously, when you AI existing value chains, obviously the other thing is the humans can focus on other things, just like we think about the chat GPT. The Delhi gives you the functionality to create the images. What the using the if you are marketing analyst, if you're marketing specialist, you can just simply don't have to look for a photographer to shoot any picture of your product. You can just simply go to Delhi, you can ask the prompt, and you will just able to get the image in ready for you. So you can utilize that image for your business, and you will have the now your cost is saving, your time is saving. You can spend that time into something else. You can try experimenting with your business. So guys, we have to go back to may not be a last question. Okay, so this is okay. I have already answered her question. Guys, we can answer this question. Yes, it's just a product from my favorite record. Okay, last question. Can we use models in an API? Yes, you can do. This is what we do. REST API you can create. Either you can go with Flask as well. Flask is also very good. For FYP, how much data required to train the model house prediction using random? It won't require much data as we manage all these form of data deployment alone because in this series multiple rows and deployment. Yes, you can just simply go on KAG, a lot of online resources which have the data available. So you can just
pick even 2000 to 3000 samples, which is enough. So guys, let's come back to our topic. So we have talked about this one. Let's go ahead. Generative AI. So let's deep dive into the generative AI. We're going to understand the architecture of the generative AI and LLM. So let's go and understand generative AI. What is generative AI? This is and large language model. These are the two cutting edge technologies which has changed the shape of our AI industry totally different. Now the things which were not possible 4 and 3 years ago and even 5 years ago, these things are easily possible in less amount of time with more accuracy. Let's go and see what are the large language models and generative AI. If we talk about the AI is a total subset. In this subset, we have a machine learning, then it comes a deep learning, and the generative AI, artificial intelligence comes inside. Then it comes a large language models. Then it comes a generative pre-trained transformers, which is GPT, and then it comes our GPT-4 and Chat GPT-4. So if we talk about Chat GPT-4 is the best example of the AI. It is an example of an AI. Generative AI producing creative content. Yes, we can see generative AI producing a lot of content. You guys maybe have already seen on internet. Generative AI can also even create not only images, also the videos. You guys maybe have heard about the Sora. So generative AI can be defined as an artificial intelligence focused on creating models with the ability to produce original content such as images, music, or text by ingesting vast amount of training data. Generative models can employ complex machine learning algorithms in order to understand patterns and formulate output. Yes, it is understanding the pattern. If you just pass the data, it is understanding the pattern. The techniques include in the recurrent neural network and generative adversarial networks. In addition, the transformer architecture denoted by T is a key element in the technology. So we have in the like if you have guys have trained the recurrent neural network, if you train the CNN, you guys used to fix the data pre-processing, the data preparation by your own. But in the generative AI, there is no need of data preparation. The generative AI itself has the capability to pick the data and fine tune itself according to the need. How the generative AI is working, there is basically the generative AI, there is a algorithm, there is a neural network, which is a GAN, which has the two different components. There is a generator, there is a discriminator. You train your LLM on the large amount of real world data. Now the training is done. What we have to do, there it comes a generator. Generator generate a new images. Once you train the model, generator generate a new images, and there is a discriminator. Generate see, does this image looks like a real or a fake? If discriminators say the image generated by the generator is it a real, this is a success of generative AI. So means your generator is not able to identify that this is a fake image generated by discriminator saying this is a real. What is meant by fake means it is generated by a generator which is not generated by a human, not a click, not any other image. It is generated by a generator. So that how the generative AI is producing a content. There is a generator, there is a discriminator who all the time struggle with each other to identify is it a real or is it a fake. Generative AI architecture, just like a very simple architecture where you have unstructured data. Why I am saying unstructured data? Because you are passing a huge amount of data. Chat GPT is trained on the data till 2023. On the data, there is a unlabeled data, there is a huge amount of data. Some data is structured, some data is not structured. So that is why we are saying unstructured data. It can be structured, but most of the data will be structured. So we'll pass this data to our generative AI model. Generative AI will learn the pattern from the unstructured data and it will produce the output. The output will be our new component, which you guys can see, which we have also faced with the chat GPT, which is generating a new content. There are different layers of generative AI. There is a data processing layer at which you input the data, where all the processing happens. There is a generative layer where the generative layer takes the input data and start learning from that data and start generating. Then it comes a feedback layer and improvement layer when it there is not the right output generated by a generative AI. So it gives you the it takes the improvement and the feedback from the user and improve it. and the deployment layer where you deploy the model. So generative AI has a four components in their architecture: data pre-processing, generative model layer, feedback and improvement layer, and deployment layer. Key examples of generative AI models: DALL-E. We guys have seen that DALL-E is used for the image generation, is a platform of the open AI which is trained on the huge amount of images data and can generate unique and detailed images. Let's say I need an image, a guy sitting in the office near to the window. There is a neon board outside the building of the building. So I can just type into the chat GPT. Chat GPT will be able to, Delhi will be able to entertain me. Midjourney is also like a open AI application, which is basically focused on the creative application, let people to create imaginative artistic images by leveraging the deep learning techniques. You can simply interact with that Midjourney and you can create your images. Dream Studio is also a different a platform where you can employ the machine learning algorithm to analyze the data, music data. If you're interested for generating a music data, so you can just simply create new composition of your music simply using Runway. Is basically a platform where you can create your 3D models and you can create simple films, short films. You can automate the filmmaking. You can just simply create a variety of films. So there are different applications available of the generative AI. If you see this, I generated this output. I just passed prompt image. Let me read this prompt. A stylish guy walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. He wears black leather jacket and t-shirt with programming. And if you guys see how much detail I have entered, and black boots and carries a laptop. In this image, you guys can see he's carrying a laptop. He's also carrying in the other image, and he's wearing a t-shirt in which the programming, if you guys can see, if you programmers, you can see this is a structure of the programming. He walks confidently and casually. The street is damp, reflective, crafting creating a mirror effect of his colorful lights. Many pedestrians walking about, so you can see pedestrians are there. This is a Tokyo, this is a street of Tokyo. You guys can see the billboards are behind him in Japanese, and you can see how much detailed image he has generated for me. So you can just create that. Another example, I created my image. I passed this image to the Musawwir.ai, which is also a image generation platform. I just input my image, my face image, and ask him geek guy, programming, dark background, neural network, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So I just tell him I need this kind of look. So it has generated an image for me. So you guys can easily create these images instead of hiring someone. If you need a very nice image for your LinkedIn, you can just enter your image. You can ask him, can you create this image for my LinkedIn profile? So it can easily generate a very professional image for you, so you can utilize for that. Let's understand what is LLMs. LLMs are specialized class of AI model that use natural language processing to understand and generate human-like text-based content in response. Large general purpose language models can be pre-trained, fine-tuned, and specific. Oh, this is a theory. I'm not going to read this theory. Let me explain you this. So we have seen in deep learning, we have a recurrent neural network which has the capability to work on the input text and make sentiment analysis, text summarization, classification of text, anything you want to do with the text. So there is a recurrent neural network. But limitation happens in a recurrent neural network. It can take to fix number of length. Means if your text size is increasing, you cannot go with a larger text in your recurrent neural network. So this is a problem with recurrent neural network. Maybe you can pass only 200 words input into your recurrent neural networks. You cannot go beyond this limit. So how we can perform our sentiment analysis if my text size is 500 to 600, 700, even 1000 words? Even there are some LLMs which can take around 32,000 words as an input and still has the capability to understand the context. So here comes a specialized class of AI NLP model which can understand the human like text, and based on the input text it can understand what is the context, what is my user is acquiring, was a user has entered into the input text, and it will be able to understand the context and it will be perform that task. Let's say if you're performing a text summarization text task, so LLM can easily understand. If you want to perform any sentiment analysis, an LLM with on a bigger amount of data, not a small data on a bigger, so LLM can understand. So let's understand what makes the LLM it's unique. Unique. What is the architecture of the LLM? So the LLM is backed by a transformers. What is a transformers? Transformers is developed by the Google. It is a very in 2018, which allows you to focus on the context of the text. Let's you are passing a bigger text and you want your LLM to focus on the context. So you can use the LLM which has the transformer. Even every LLM has a transformer in it. ChatGPT, BERT, Gemini, Bard, all are utilizing the L transformer. So what? Let's understand what is a transformer. Let me first give you the overall picture of the transformer. Then I will deep dive into the every component of the transformer. In the transformer, we take the input. We're going to say, this is my prompt, write a story. My this input will go directly into the tokenization part. This will chunk my words into separate words, input into separate. Then it comes the embedding. As you guys know, computer can understand language of 0 and 1, but we are communicating with him in our own language. How it's happening? So there is an embedding. So embedding allows you to convert your text into the numbers, just like binary numbers. Instead of binary numbers, we have defined numbers for each word. Let's say write will have specific number, will have specific number, story will have a specific number of embedding. That is understandable by the LLM. You don't have to worry about this. This is already predefined. So when you apply the embedding, automatically it will map your text into the numbers, which is also called as vectors. Then it comes the positional encodings. When you convert the number text into the numbers, there is a chance you may lose the context where the important thing in your text maybe get lost. So the positional encodings make sure your context of your text will not be disturbed. When the positional encoding is applied, then is the attention layer. Okay, so what does the attention layer is doing? Attention layer is responsible for identifying what is the context of my this input. Okay, write a story. So I need a story. So this is my attention model will work on that. Then it is a feed forward, which is basically connecting you with next attention layer. There are multiple attention layers. So it will allow you to make your model to be more precise. Once you complete this, there is a softmax layer. Softmax layer basically we have to generate a story. When generating a story, it can be many words. You can start your story. There is a lot of words in your story. Your model has processed. This is the story. But to my user, from which word I have to start. So softmax decide based on the probability which word should come first, which come should come last. So here the calculation of the word selection is defined here. So this is how the transformer works. Let's go to the tokenization. Tokenization is the most basic step. It consists of large data sets of tokens, including all words, punctuation, signs. The tokenization step takes each word, prefix, suffix, and punctuation sign and send them to the token to a known token from the library. So you have a write a story, it is converting. Write is separate, I is separate, story is separate, and dot is separate. So it is separating the separate. So it will allows you to convert into the vectors because you cannot convert the whole text into the vector. You can convert the words into the vector. So it is converting the words into the vector. And in LLMs, you guys used to do the data pre-processing in recurrent neural network. You guys used to remove the punctuation marks. You guys used to remove the uh, punctuation marks, any other words, and is these kind of words you guys used to remove in the NLP task, but here you guys don't need to remove it. We have a attention method which can easily identify to pay attention on which word and to pay attention to not which word. We have embedding layer. Embedding are basically a vectors. It converts from your text embedding to a very piece, send a piece of text into a vector list of numbers. If two pieces or text are similar, the numbers in their corresponding vectors are similar to each other. Let's say if the numbers are closer to each other, they will be placed in a same way. So this is how the embedding works. So in numbers, we are getting the text, and we get from text we are getting to the numbers. So numbers can be understandable our machine. Now we have to place the position of our text. You know, if we just simply convert this from text to embedding, we may have a chance to lose the context of our word, our input. So to make sure we are talking according to the context, we are going to convert into the positional encoding. So once we done this, we will have the transformer block. The transformer block has two components, attention component and feed forward component. So attention component is basically to identify the goal of this to predict the next word. Let's say you have to perform any kind of task. There will be a specific word which will be making your context. Write a story. What I have to do? I have to do a story. Okay, story. What I have to do with the story? Right. So these are my two words which is making my context. So my attention model will be allowing me focus on that word which is making me output. Attention. Let's say there are two money in the bank. If I talk about bank of the river, there are two different words, but the meanings is different. But problem with traditional machine learning algorithm and deep learning algorithms, it may get confused. They may be considered as both lines as the same thing. Money in the bank. I am saving my money in the bank. Bank of the river. I am standing on the bank of the river. Means I am standing near to the river. Bank of the river. So both are different, but there is a bank, the word of bank in both. So my model get confused and will be considering the both text as same. To make sure if there is some words in the English that are different, the meaning is different, but they are written same, that attention model will help me to fix this issue. So they will not get confused. Okay, if I am getting this input, I'm still understanding the context because I am talking about my savings, I'm talking about a bank. So obviously this bank relates to the money where I can keep my money. I'm not talking about the river. I'm not talking about the bank of the river. So I'm not talking about any amusement thing. I'm talking about my savings. So it means I am talking about the bank here. So attention model will derive this attention and will find out where I have to put my attention. What is the context of my input? So this is done by attention model. That's why we can see ChatGPT has the capability to understand what we are trying to explain him, and all the time he comes up with the right result which we are intended. So that's how it's working. So attention models will bring the attention, will take out the attention, will know, okay, oh, this is my intention. I have to pay attention on this one. Softmax level, I have put my attention. Now my next task is to produce a story. My input was write a story. Transformer has processed all the things. Transformers has generated the story for me. But from where I have to start? Softmax will decide, okay, so as you know, stories mostly start from once there was a this kind of thing, this kind of words, from this kind of words we start our story. So it will say once has the highest probability, so it will return the once. Next probability, highest probability is there. Okay, so this one. Next highest probability is somewhere. So it will start giving the probability and the text will start coming up with the probability and it will give you the. So that's how the transformers has made the life easy for us to utilize this LLM. So LLMs is basically backed by the transformers. It is a backbone of the transformer, which make them capable to understand the context, and based on understanding the context to bring the data which humans are acquiring. Examples of LLMs: generative pre-trained transformer GPT-3 is developed by OpenAI, one of the most prominent LLMs. We have already used multiple. We're already using in our daily life. It's already being widely used in application, including chatbots. Yes, mostly people are creating a chatbot with no code using this. They provide a very short API key. They can just integrate it with your application, your mobile application or your web application. You can just integrate content generation, language translation. Yes, GPT-4 is a more advanced version of the GPT-3. So it is trained on the bigger amount of data, which has the capability to understanding the memory capability. It has the capability to keep your text as in the memory, and it can go with your memory understanding. Palm 2 pre-trained autoregressive language model. It's his non-GPT example of LLM that focus on language understanding and generation, offering an enhanced performance in tasks such as language modeling, text completion, document classification, which is with this functionality, it does a good job of powering the Google Bard chatbot. So it is used inside behind the Google Bard. So it allows you if you have to perform the text completion, document classification, and language modeling. So generative AI plus LLMs are dynamo duo. So if you combine the generative AI with LLMs, what you guys can do? Content generation. Yes, we are generating a content. That is because generative AI is combined with LLMs. Content personalization. What is meant by content personalization? We have to generate a content for specific category, for specific set of people. You can create this even if you are interested to create a content for your own personality, for your own preferences. You can also create chatbots and virtual agents. They have the capability to generate chatbots and virtual agents. Multi-model content generation, storytelling, and narrative generation. If you have to create any storytelling, narrative generation, you can go with that. Content translation and localization and content summarization, you can easily do this kind of things with that. So that's it all about the generative AI and large language models. We have seen the application, the introduction of AI. We have seen the different fields of AI. We have seen the AI product life cycle, how you can go with the product life cycle of AI. If you, I wish you guys best of luck to be the future product AI product managers, AI product leaders. So if you go to there, you guys will have that understanding. You guys will be okay. You guys will be thinking about me. That guy told us these things, how the product life cycles of AI happens, and the generative AI large language models. So I'm open to the questions. You guys can ask question. We have 10 minutes left. So let's go to the chat box. Yes, we get, you guys will get the video recording. Yes, okay, okay, I will accept the invite. Yes, 8 steps. Let me verify how much data. Okay, I've already explained it. Okay, so text add. I can tomorrow. I will provide you the whole tech stack. Okay, so you guys can just follow that to become a good generative AI engineer. If you guys have any question, go ahead. Yes, hello, Mohammed Ali. Hmm. Actually, to be honest, I have never used math in my daily life. There's already built-in libraries. If you talk about the debugging, why your model is not working according to the, and why your model is behaving like a black box, why I'm not understanding it, this model. So there are a lot of libraries and there are a lot of other techniques are available there. But I have never used math, and at my in my career, I have never seen any requirement of the math in the job. You are right. At some jobs they mention, but if you want, you can be expert on it. Because being a CS student, we already have studied the math, different version of math. Hmm. Hmm. Art, it is enough. You guys have seen the calculus, the differentiation, derivative. This is a different kind of thing. How machine learning is also revolving around this. You know how the back propagation is working. It is taking the derivative all the time of its loss and is going back to that. So we have seen this. If you want to do this, you can easily do this. Can you please mention those libraries? About which libraries? Okay, first, future fields in generative AI. There's a prompt engineering, generative AI engineer. If we talk about LLM engineer, LLM, LLM ops engineer. There's a separate field for the guy who is going to make sure the LLM is going to be giving us the right output as per they have deployed. How we can create our own data, for example, need to create smaller data. There is a model code bird, but the data set. Okay, so if you're using a bird, what is a bird? Bird is a text-based large language model. So for this, you will need textual data. I have used bird in my at my job. That is a very good algorithm. So you can. It is a text-based, so you have to. First of all, you have to identify what is your problem. If you have identified, then you can go with that data. You're going to pick that data. Okay, let me first complete. So we're going to pick that data. Let's say if it's a bird, you're going to pick the text data, textual data. You're going to feed to your LLM bird model. So you going either you can augment the data if you have a smaller data set. You can augment the data using data augmentation. Otherwise, you have to prepare the data by your own. Just simply fine tuning the data as per the FYP. If okay, what's the weightage of portfolio website and currently? If by the way, if you can add the website in your portfolio when you go on your LinkedIn, add the profile section, you can add if you can create a website and you can if you add this website on your portfolio, that will be good. But if your portfolio is very well managed, if you guys see, if you just actively participating and they will automatically see what is you actively if you see 13 hours ago, okay, means this guy is actively participating, so it's enough. But if you want to add a website, you can must add here. If you have the website, must add in this profile section. In the context, yes, if your dummy data works, if your dummy data is, let's say if you have the talking about the dummy data, then dummy data should reflect the feel of the original data, otherwise it won't work. If there is a data set, why so why we use that? Because of the data set already their model trained on that. We want to create a data set of our local prediction house. Yes, you may have to consider, you may have to. I am going to share my LinkedIn. Yes, let me share this LinkedIn. And not only the LinkedIn, you guys can connect with me. And guys, this is a feedback form. Give me your feedback. How was this session? So it will help me to improve my next session. So I will have the idea how it helped you guys. Oh, okay, okay. You can either maybe create a survey if you're talking about creating your own data for the future price prediction. You may know about the may have to do some sort of survey as well. So it will help you to gather the real world data. TensorFlow is basically just if you have to create a library, if you have to create any machine learning, deep learning algorithm you can create. Light is basically helps you to monitor the performance of your model that will allow you to visualize the logs of your model. TensorFlow Lite. What kind of FOB should we use? AI website, AI website, or make a research on LLM? Make a research on LLM. Hmm. Yes. Optimize the existing model. NLTK, Spacey, Gensim, these kind of libraries are required. Yes, I think so. We should end this session. I think so. We have addressed everyone question. So, guys, I have sent you the link of my LinkedIn and also the feedback form. So just fill this up. So I'll have the idea how this webinar helped you guys. And if you guys have any question, we're also going to have a session tomorrow. So you guys can ask the question tomorrow. And in case if my tomorrow the question does not get addressed, you guys have my LinkedIn. You can ask me on my LinkedIn anytime.